Hey guys, it's Michael again. Let's have a chat about Shrek the Third. So a few of you might already know, but I did a poll on Instagram and some of you participated in it. And it was me asking whether you guys wanted me to talk about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or Shrek the Third. And by the teensiest little bit, Shrek the Third won. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Oh, and for those of you who really wanted to hear me talk about Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, don't worry, I'll be making that video soon. In the meanwhile, why don't you go into my other channel, MJ Batman, and check out my gameplay on the PS2 of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I'll leave the card right there. Yes, thank you for that promo green screen, Michael. Anyways,
if you don't already know and somehow couldn't make it out from the title, Shrek the Third is the third installment in the Shrek cinematic franchise, which, let me just say right now, I absolutely love. All the Shrek movies are a joy to watch, and it's one of DreamWorks' best, works. A lot of people seem to widely agree that the second movie, Shrek 2, is not only the best Shrek movie of all time, but one of the greatest animated comedies of all time.
And yeah, I agree. It's hilarious, I love everything about it, and it's absolutely my favorite of all the Shrek movies. But what do people think about Shrek the Third? Well, the general consensus is that it's the worst one, and people try and pretend like it doesn't even exist. And I know what you're gonna ask. Michael, what do you think about Shrek the Third? And, well, okay, bear with me, but I kinda disagree with what most people say about this film. And I don't want to say that I like it, but I like it. And I want to make absolutely clear, I understand this is a bad movie, and I could understand why people don't like it. So why exactly do I like this movie? I don't know. I have no idea why. But I enjoy watching it and I find it actually entertaining. How about this? How about we pull up some common criticisms that this movie gets, and I'll tell you where I stand on each one of them. Criticism 1. This is the worst of all the Shrek movies.
Yep, that one I could easily agree with. This film is definitely the weakest one. But I don't think it's because it's bad. I just think it's least good. The other films are such great movies that of course this one looks awful in comparison. It's kind of obvious that this was a blatant cash grab, what with all the merchandise and the toys and the straight up lie they plaster right on top of the DVD cover.
You serious?
It's really unfortunate that their main motivator to make this film was so obviously just to make money.
Criticism 2. This movie is not funny at all.
And no, not really true. I've seen movies that were way more comedy dead than this one was. Now, I could agree that this one is bound to make you laugh the least amount of times compared to any of the other ones. It really depends on the person who's watching. It's sort of a one man's trash is another man's trash that he kind of enjoys. But I would be lying if I said I didn't find one or two things that actually made me laugh in this movie. For example, there's that one scene with the Frog King passing away that people usually say is kind of in poor taste and think that it's disrespecting the character.
And yeah, in one hand I see where they're coming from, but in the other hand...
His name is...
What's his name? What's his name?
Daddy!
Look, I don't know why, but that's really funny to me.
There's also this scene that people like to bring up when discussing how unfunny this movie is.
If you think this whole mad scene ain't dope, I feel you, dude. I mean, I'm not trying to get up in your grill or raise your roof or whatever. I mean, if it doesn't groove or what I'm saying ain't straight tripping, just say, oh, no, you didn't. You know, you're getting on my last nerve.
Look, in all fairness, that's not the entire joke. It's more of the setup for the punchline, which I actually found a little funny.
Somebody help! I've been kidnapped by a monster trying to relate to me!
And let me tell you right now, this next gag, it's short, it's stupid, and it's barely brought up by anybody, but for some weird reason, it made me laugh so hard, and it's my favorite thing in the whole movie. He just ripped... I don't know why it's so funny.
Anyways, I think it's important to realize that people just find certain things funny that other people don't. and I don't think that this is an unfunny movie.
Criticism 3. You should pretend this movie doesn't exist and or skip it entirely.
Okay, that's pushing it just a little, though to be honest, I understand why they would think that. The movie introduces a few new characters that don't ever come back in Shrek the Final Chapter, rendering them kind of pointless. And there's no major world-changing plot points besides Fiona having babies, which already gets well established in the beginning of the 4th movie. I get that. But the thing is, if you're already a big fan of Shrek, I honestly don't see a reason to skip out on this film. If you like watching Shrek and all the other characters in general, I would recommend that you find out for yourself whether you like this film or not. Just because a lot of other people don't like it doesn't mean it won't resonate with you. I guess if you don't know anything about Shrek and just want to know the story behind him and you have no real interest beyond that, then it would make more sense to skip past this one. And as for pretending that Shrek the Third doesn't exist...
Well, to be honest, the following film kind of passively dismisses the existence of this film in and of itself anyway, so you kind of don't really have to pretend all that much. It's a shame though, because I legitimately did like the characters they introduced in Shrek the Third.
I liked Artie and I thought the princesses were fun to watch most of the time too, but I especially enjoyed the scenes with Merlin the Wizard. I found his parts to be the most entertaining. I wanted to point out this one scene with him that no one really brings up, but I thought was oddly humorous.
What the hell even was that? I don't know why that's so funny to me. Oh yeah, and there's this other scene that he's in that... I pray you don't look at me differently, because most people say that this scene is really dumb and unfunny, but it actually got a laugh out of me.
Look, Auntie,
Just thought I might help set the mood. You know, for your big heart-to-heart chat.
Okay, so my guess is that this song was really popular around the time of this movie's release, and people just hate that they put this song in. And honestly, I don't know this song from anywhere else but this scene, so I can still enjoy it. I guess if it was something like Careless Whisper or something like that, then I would probably feel the same way.
look, Auntie,
Just thought I might help set the mood.
Oh yeah, and there's also the plot point of Merlin accidentally swapping Puss and Donkey's bodies, which again, I've heard people say they don't like. But I actually found it very interesting to see Donkey and Puss express in ways we don't usually see them express. It's particularly more enjoyable to see Donkey and Puss's body.
Oh, sorry, I lost track of what we were even talking about there for a second. Bottom line is, if you're interested in watching this movie, watch it. If you're not interested in watching this movie, don't watch it. Simple as that. Criticism 4. Prince Charming as the villain again?
Okay, so I agree that it is kind of lame that they got the lesser half of the evil duo from the last movie to be the villain for their next movie. But while researching for this video, I randomly found a comment that made me realize something about Prince Charming's character that I hadn't before.
And I just wanted to go ahead and give this guy some credit, the Browntown 007, for writing this, because I actually thought it was really well thought out. He wrote, "Just think about this for a second. Prince Charming was told his entire life by his mother that he would be a king, that he was going to rescue Fiona and marry her. His name is Prince, and he's not even a prince. The guy must have been training his entire life to rescue Fiona, and then he finds out everything he worked for had been taken away. What he now thinks is his birthright due to his mother. Then his mother comes up with a plan to get him on the throne, only for it to lead to her death. Now Prince Charming is ridiculed, while Shrek is loved and praised. Like, would it have been so bad if they tried to make him fit in? He's been met with nothing but ridicule since his mother died. How was he not supposed to turn out a bad guy? Shrek 3 may be some people's least favorite Shrek film, but honestly, I think Prince Charming was a brilliant villain, probably more deeper than any of the other villains before him. And I agreed with him up to the end where he said, I think Prince Charming was a brilliant villain. Yeah, I don't think so. A villain with a good backstory maybe, but I think Prince Charming was a better villain in concept than he was in execution.
You can kind of tell that they were trying to strike a little bit of that potential with him during some parts, but they didn't really do a good job with him in the end. The most I really liked with Prince Charming was his scene with all the other villains in The Poison Apple. Speaking of which, I really like all the new side villains they introduce. Hook gets more time, which obviously makes him the best one. I thought adding the second stepsister Mabel was pretty nice, and I thought the stamp guy was pretty alright sometimes too. I honestly kind of wish the movie was more about these guys. At least they're intimidating. Charming doesn't look like he can hurt a fly. In fact, he almost dies from a fly. So even flies are more intimidating than he is.
That's pretty much all the common criticisms that I can think of. But yeah, those are my viewpoints on Shrek the Third. And although I partially agree with some of the things that people give this movie crap for, I still, oddly enough, enjoy this film and pop it on whenever I can. It's still a movie that for some weird reason I enjoy watching. I don't know. I just like watching terrible things. And I hope that this video makes its way out to fans of Shrek the Third, because I know that they exist out there somewhere, and it'd be a good change of pace for there to be somebody on YouTube who actually says a few good things about this movie. So guys, basically, don't be afraid to like something that a lot of people hate. If you enjoy it, isn't that reason enough to continue liking it? That being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like in the leave a like in the comments. That's not what I meant to say. Leave a like and go ahead and comment if you guys disagreed or agreed with what I said in this video. I always read the comments, so whatever you guys comment, I will read. Please ding that dong. Get notified all day long when I release new videos like this one, and I will see you guys then.
Yeah, you told me the other day